Yes, I am live on YouTube now. Welcome. If you see this from the top of the video, I started the video just 5 minutes before the actual class started, so that if people are like, where is she? Where is this gonna happen? They can jump in online as I'll just be waiting a little bit. It would be really cool if you would want to write in the chat box. You probably see it somewhere over to your left side where you're from, maybe country or just city or something like that. It's just a way of making this a little more like a community and see if we're from somewhere all over Europe or just mainly Denmark, maybe. I don't know. So leave me a comment and then I'll just be chatting until we start. I hope the sound is on. If it's not, let me know in the chat box because I can't hear it. All right. Or if you know me, message me on my phone. So today, you are gonna find your mat and your good spirit, and that's it. I'm really excited about this power flow because I love power yoga. So that's cool. And welcome to all of you coming in. Yeah, awesome. So welcome to write in the chat box on your left side where you're from, just to see if this is actually becoming a European thing. My name is still Ria, and the reason I teach yoga actually comes from teaching fitness. So I've been a fitness instructor for 12 years or so, just part-time for quite a number of years until I met yoga. I tried yoga for the first time actually on YouTube. Ta-da! And the first time I tried it, I was like, oh, this is some really fun and strange movements. I want to try to look more into that. I want to see if anybody has connected this kind of movements with Christian faith because I felt so calm after I did yoga. And there I found Yoga Faith, which is an American organization. And from there, we built CrossYoga, which has a base in Europe. So that's a little bit of my story. And all of this happened 6 years ago, or about to be 7, actually. So, yeah. Remember to write in the chat box if you're interested just in giving me a heads up where you're from. That'll be lovely. And unroll your mats wherever it makes sense. Now, here in Denmark, the weather is awesome. It's just really sunshine outside. Maybe you can see it on the floor, all these dots. It's the sunshine coming in from the colored windows here. So if you want to take your practice outside, I would do that. If I was attending, I would take my practice outside and some headphones on or something like that. Yeah. All right. If you have any questions about anything, again, just write in the chat box. And I'll be waiting just a few more minutes to see if people pop on. So I like to do this on YouTube instead of Zoom, so I don't have to allow people in as I'm teaching. Here, people can just pop in and out whenever. Yes. All right. I hope you have had at least a little bit of breakfast before, so you have some energy to move. And make sure when we do balance poses, as you can see, I'm just talking, right? Until time catches up. But if you do balance poses and your balance is a little bit off, one big great tip is actually just to go, if we take the knee up here and you're like, well, I can't do that. Or if we go for warrior 3 or something like that, just take your leg behind you, just like this, and just stay here. So with the leg that we move in a direction, whatever direction, just move your leg a little bit in that direction, either front, back, or to the side. Mainly front and back. We don't have a lot of side things in yoga unless you get creative. So, welcome everybody. Nice to see you. Well, I can't see you, but you can see me. It's 10 o'clock. And as I said, please write in the comment section where you're from. I would so much like to know if you're from here or anywhere else. That could be so cool. So this is actually a live session that is also part of the CrossYoga teacher training, online teacher training that we have and offer, to everybody with, of course, the time being European time. That's how I would call it CrossYoga Europe. at least the channel, because we work with the European time zone. So, but everybody, of course, is welcome. So this is a part of the training there, and I thought it'd just be fun because I would do a master class anyway to share it with more people. Awesome. Welcome, everybody. You are up for a power yoga class. And remember, you can definitely just skip poses that you don't want to do. You can always find child's pose or another pose if you like. And sometimes people ask me, is power yoga really difficult? Not in that way, because we don't have to use a lot of really, really advanced poses. We will play with advanced poses today, but it doesn't have to be advanced, okay? So don't be afraid if you're like, oh, I can't do it. It's too advanced. It's too difficult. It's more difficult for your muscles. All right. I think time is up, and I will start again. Welcome to write in the chat box. As far as I can see, nobody have written yet. It's always a matter of being the first one to do it, right? So I hope you can still hear me. If you can't, please text me or write in the chat box if anything goes wrong, because I have no opportunity to actually hear or see if anything goes wrong. But welcome to CrossYoga. My name is still Ria, and I have the honor of teaching you this power yoga class. And as most of you probably know, CrossYoga is yoga focused on the Christian faith. But you might not have a strong faith in Jesus and all of that, and you might be feeling a little bit awkward, like, am I really doing a Christian yoga class? I just want to welcome you and say you're perfectly welcome, no matter your small or big belief. Okay, sometimes the word God or Jesus, you can exchange that with love, if that makes more sense to you. So just be welcome and take in what you can take in at the moment. So that's all good. Find your mat. Hopefully you have rolled it. Stand with your feet somewhat hip width distance, and maybe take a look at your feet and spread out the toes quite a lot. Swaying a little bit from side to side. And then try to bend your knees a little bit, standing tall. Try to erect your spine. A little bit of an engagement in your core. And then your shoulders. Try to rotate them a little bit back like that. So you can actually take your hand and just push the shoulder girdle a little bit back. And this helps also with the outward rotation of your hands. This is mountain pose. So just close your eyes and stay in mountain pose. Maybe you want to exhale out deeply and letting go of things that you want to let go of. Notice how you can breathe. You can breathe at the top of your chest. It lifts a little bit. And you can breathe more down around your navel, and that kind of moving your navel abdomen out as you inhale. So right now we'll be breathing. I'll read a short verse, and then we warm up our bodies, move through some short, a little bit longer sequence, stretching, and a short resting at the end. During the last year, and even more of that, I think lots of us have survived more than lived. Surviving is okay, because that's what we do. But living is actually counting and being grateful for what we have. And right now, I want us to live and play on the yoga mat. The Bible speaks a lot about worship. And often I think, why? Why worship? And I think one reason is because God says so. right? So, well, and another thing is I think God knows that we need to focus on what is good in life to not only survive, but actually to live. That's why he encourages us to worship. And I'll just read a little bit of Psalm 95. It says here, "Come, let's sing for joy to the Lord. Let us shout out to the rock of our salvation. Let us come before him with thanksgiving and extol him with music and song." A little bit later, "In his hands are the depths of the earth, and the mountain peaks belong to him. The sea is his, for he made it, and his hands formed the dry land. Come, let's bow down and worship. Let's kneel before the Lord our Maker." So lots of words here, shouting out, singing, playing music, bowing down. And right now, we're going to use our whole body as an instrument of just celebrating life and being grateful. So take your arms out to the side, reach your palms up towards the sky, and fold forward, bending your knees as you lean forward, letting go of your neck. Lower further down in your knees, chair pose, lifting up your chest a little bit, arms to the front. And let's rise up again. Throw your arms out to the side. Inhale and maybe exhale. Inhale, raise your arms up. And again, soften your knees as you fold forward. Back on your heels, sink your hip down, chair pose again. We'll just do this 2 more times. Reach your arms up, open up. Let your body sing. Be grateful for what we have. Your health, your body, and maybe your faith. Sink forward. Chair pose again, lifting up. Make sure it's soft and playful. Reaching your arms up, and again, lean back, open up. One last time through cradle length, bowing down, coming down almost on our knees. Chair pose again. And reach your arms up, hands down by your side. Now move your shoulders around. So let your body sing. You're welcome to sing on your yoga practice as well. But I don't know, I can't do it, but maybe you can. Maybe you can put some music on if you like. But what would your body look like if it could actually sing without you singing through your mouth, right? Moving through a warming sequence. It's part of sun salutation A. That's why I'm sitting down in the chair here. Make sure your spine is tall. You don't have that ducktail going on. Navel engaged. And lean forward however much you want to stretch your legs. From here, half lift. And then we're going to plank. So palms on the mat, step your feet back. And let's do this slow the first time, just figuring out where we are. Look at your feet, hip width distance back there. Navel in, and I will encourage you to come down on your knees as we lower on our bellies. Let your elbows move back, shoulders down, come down on your belly. And lift up your core again, shoulders back, and maybe want to stay here and let your hands go. Wave to me. And then take your palms underneath your shoulder girdle, tuck your toes under, lift up, downward facing dog. And make sure you bend your knees, rather bending your knees than rounding your back. Right leg up towards the sky. Bend your knees and step your foot to the front end of the mat. You're welcome to draw your hands there. Warrior one. So the back foot moves out to the side just a little bit. Look to the front, reaching your arms up towards the sky. And maybe you're standing a little bit tall, and maybe you move your hip a little bit further to the front. Not if it hurts in your back foot, though. Opening up our chest, taking your arms out to the side, moving the back foot around. Now I said this is a version of sun salutation B. Warrior 2. Now the back foot is aligned with the short end of the mat. Arms in a horizontal line. Palms flip up. Reverse your warrior, leaning back, and make sure you're bent quite firmly into the front knee. Windmill your arms around, hands reaches down, back heel off. Step back, down dog. Either stay here or create some heat in your arms as you do your vinyasa flow, which means plank on toes or knees, low plank. Lifting your chest, you can have your hands on the ground this time. And then down dog. Beautiful. Left side, reaching your foot up. And as we did before, navel in, bend your knee, and step that foot through. Back foot lower down. And if you take a look at your heels and you draw some lines along the long end of the mat, there's still hip width distance in between your heels here. They are not in one line, and it's harder to stay here. Warrior 1. This back hip here. You can place your hand on your right hip and try to move it just a tiny bit forward. You might feel stretch on your hip flexor. Then open up. However you want to do it, maybe stretch that front leg. Now your heels are somewhat aligned. Sink down in your front knee, warrior 2. Windmill your arms around. Option of doing your down dog and just staying there, or finding plank immediately. Lowering down. Cobra. If you want to go for up dog where hip is off, either the knees on the ground or not. And then back to down dog. Look to the front. Walk to the front. Fold forward. Again, remember, bending the knees if that was better for you. And then everybody bent their knees. Chair pose. And mountain. Let's do this with the pace of our breath. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plank to low plank. You're welcome to jump back. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Step your feet in if you want to. Inhale, reaching right leg up. Exhaling as you step the foot through. Lowering down right foot or left foot. Inhale, warrior 1. Exhaling, staying here. Preparing your warrior 2 as you inhale, turn the back foot. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, windmill your arms around. Either go for your vinyasa or just go to down dog. Long exhale here. Inhale, cobra up dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Just a little bit faster. Left leg, reach it up and step it through. Warrior 1. Inhaling. And exhaling. Warrior 2, opening up. And lowering down. I forgot the reverse warrior, so let's just do it on this one. Reverse your warrior. Palms flip back. Move your hands around. Plank to low plank or down dog. Lifting your chest. And downward facing dog. Take one breath here. Next inhale, jump or walk to the top of the mat. Fold forward, exhale. Chair, inhale. Mountain, exhale. One breath. And then picture your next version here, the next time through, that you're playing on a playground. All right, let your movements be playful and joyful, whatever that looks like for you. Don't worry about looking weird. Inhale, chair. Exhale, forward fold. Half lift, inhale. Plank to low plank, exhale. Cobra up dog, inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. Right leg in here, reaching that leg up and stepping it through. Warrior one, rise up on a big inhale. Maybe sink a little bit more to the front with your hip on your exhale. Opening up, inhaling. Warrior two. Now let's reverse that warrior. Inhaling, reaching up, leaning back, exhaling, stretching your side body. Arms around, Vinyasa flow or down dog. Lifting up, create some heat now. And be playful. Let your body worship. Left leg up towards the sky. I could step it through. Warrior one. Warrior two. Are you being playful? Maybe it's just being playful, moving, breathing. Plank to low plank or down dog. Huge exhale as you lower down. And down dogs. Take a breath in down dog. And again to the front. If you jump, lift your heel off, bend your knees quite a lot, and then softly jump to the front. Lower down your heels, forward fold. Chair pose. And mountain. So let our body shout, and maybe it's a shout here just of an exhale. We're going to create some heat in our core, and of course we'll come back to core more later during the class, but let's have a little bit of fun here. So sink down in your chair pose first, and you can always stay here in your chair pose, but lifting up right leg and maybe just let it hover a little bit over the floor here. See if you can create some heat in your left thigh. Take your right leg back, wing your arms out to the side for an airplane. Moving your shoulder girdles back, looking down. Bending both knees as you come back, throw your arms to the sky, knee moves up. And then bend your elbows. See if your knee and elbow can reach, navel in. All right. Slowly move that leg back, arms out to the side, maybe stretching both legs. The back foot is flexed. And just breathe here, whatever works for you. Again, bending both knees, reaching your arms up. Elbow and knee together, crunching down in a standing position. One more time. My thigh is praising Lord with a lot of fatigueness. Woo! Remember to breathe and not move too fast. And let go. And let's shake. Fold forward before we do the other side. Stretching the hamstrings. All right, chair pose again. Let those toes reach out so you don't like grab the mat, but rather use all the toes you have there to make yourself stand more firm. Now, right leg here on the mat, and make sure your hip is hooked into the girdle there. Lift left leg off if you can. Slowly move back into airplane / warrior three. Bend both knees as you draw the knee closer, arms up. And let's round. See if knee or knee and elbows can reach. Moving in a slow pace. This is actually harder than moving fast. Navel in as you're standing in your airplane. Move back. I always encourage you as you hug in here to exhale when you do that. However you want to breathe for the last 2 rounds, that's up to you. But just exhale when you do your standing crunch. And bend both knees as you come into your chair before your crunch. So I don't know if you think this is advanced. Last time through, at least for me. Where did you feel that? Maybe it was the gluteus medius here at the side, or maybe at the back. Reach your arms up again. Fold forward. Awesome. Plank your palms down on the mat. Step back. Plank pose. Always welcome to come down on your elbows and on your knees whenever we do plank. Plank. Now we'll do a little bit of a side plank now. So left hand, move it to the middle of the mat. Turn your feet out to the side so that your right arm reaches up. You can stack your feet if you like. And see if you can keep the balance. Now again, if you want to move further, knee and elbow together and reach out. There's a lot of balance here. So for the easier version, come down on your knee and on your elbow and do this. Just a few times. I'm counting down. 4. Maybe look at the floor. 3. Lift through the shoulder. 2. And 1. That was tough. Down dog or child's pose if you need to. Shake that wrist that is probably pretty tired now. Ready to play on the other side? So, right hand down on the mat. Feet to the right side. Make sure you somewhat stack your hands there. Maybe your arms a little bit more to the front. Remember knees and elbows. And let's lift and do 5. Move your hip up and just play with the balance. It doesn't matter if you can't keep your balance. 3. 2. You have to smile for this, okay? You have to smile. 1. Woo! Come back. Child's pose. Take your arms down by your side. Try to think back of one time when you were a kid, when you really had fun. Some friends or whatever happened, just sometimes back when you were a child, when you really, really laughed or had fun. When you couldn't stop giggling. I think God made us for that, for laughing, for having fun. Because that's a part of love as well. Now reach your hands to the front. Spread out your fingers. My pinky finger is actually to the edge of the mat. And then down dog. I'm going to do a little bit of another short sequence. So lift your right leg up. And then in your down dog, take your chin towards your chest and your knee towards your chest, actually, or your abs here. So you hug in, almost like you would do in a plank, but we're in a downward facing dog. Then create length. Lower down right knee on the mat, right under your hip. Lift left leg up, flex the foot, toes pointing down, and your right arm. Reach it out. Navel in so you don't round the back, but have a straight line from foot to your hand. And then down on the mat again. Toes on the mat. Reach right leg up. Hug it in. Down dog. Chin towards your chest. Knee in. Knee down. Diagonal lift. Left leg, right arm. And then repeat that. Hands down. Lift up. Three-legged dog. Before you crunch in, knee down, left leg. This might be a new thing I created yesterday as I was having fun on my mat. And just continue with this small sequence for just a little bit longer. 2 more times. And if you hear snoring sound, it's just me using my Ujjayi breath. So you want to do that as well, you are more than welcome. And remember to find your options, whatever they look like. And when you're done, stay in your tabletop and again shake any tiredness out. And before we move to the next side, just think of a pose here in tabletop that you have not done before. Anything in tabletop yet you have not tried before. What could that be? Actually, I don't think I've been standing on my fingers before like this. And moving. Yeah, all right, let's do it. Down dog. This time, left leg up. And crunch it in your down dog, knee towards your chest, and really lift that knee up, chin towards your chest. And then create some length. Lower down left knee, right leg up, toes pointing down, and lift and create length. You're welcome to look back just to check what's going on behind there. And your right arm to the front. Sorry, your left arm to the front. Let's continue with that. Moving up, down dog, left leg up, crunching in. Left knee down, right leg up and back, left arm to the front, navel in, straight line. And let's just move. Now exhale as you squeeze your abdomen together is always a good idea. 2 more times through if you somehow follow my pace. And be mindful in your diagonal lift here. We tend to let our navel sink down instead of engaging our whole core. And when you're done the last time, again, child's pose, maybe a sip of water if you feel like it. We will give our wrists a little bit of a break now. All right, hands to the front. And walk your feet to the front. Fold forward, stretching your hamstrings. Vertebrae by vertebrae, moving up. And checking in with your body. This is hopefully really warming, sweaty class. So just check in if your body, wrists, and everything is okay. So often in the Bible, when it speaks about, again, worship, as I said before, this grateful attitude towards God, it often speaks of God's creation, like the mountains and everything. So maybe during this next sequence, we're going to focus a little bit on nature, all that beautiful things that I think God created for us to enjoy. So maybe you have a specific spot in mind that you just find awesomely beautiful. And keep that somehow in the back of your mind as you move. Right leg back, sink down in your high lunge. Reach your arms up. Now rotate again your shoulders a little bit out to the side to create space. So don't have too narrow distance in between your arms. We are going to lean forward, so core in, either just a little bit or going pretty low. Right leg is back. Take your right arm back. Left stays in the front. And then maybe picture swimming a little bit. So switch your arms. So right arm back. So right arm to the front, left arm back. And just stay here. And switch. Lifting through the arch of the foot, engaging your core, feeling your thigh. And again, just come into my high lunge if this is too much. Well, let's do this 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hands down on the mat. Maybe you want to use blocks for this, I don't know. But move back, toes pointing up. Wriggle your toes, stretching both legs. Actually, if you want to stretch the back leg, go for that. And bend the front knee. And then we're going to have a little bit of fun. So scooch the left leg a little bit out to the side. Step this right foot up and toes pointing out. So I'm just going to stand like this. And then your yoga squats. All right, bird of paradise. This is somewhat an advanced pose, but our shoulders are pretty warm now. So you can lift up just a tiny bit. Your left arm, take it underneath the knee joint. Your right arm back. So it looks like this. And see if your hands can reach each other behind. If not, maybe you want to grab a sock or something like that. Now you can stay here, especially if you have any shoulder issues. You don't want to pull your shoulder out of the girdle. Quite a powerful stretch in the shoulder. Bend down in your left leg and lift up your left side here. Yeah. And maybe stretching this leg up as much as you can and just have fun, okay? Don't overthink this. Breathe. What are you doing? And whenever you're done, sink down. And let go. Shake those shoulders. That's bird of paradise, or at least a version of it. Left leg back. High lunge. If you're up for this, we're almost there. We need some core, and then we're going to stretch. Now tuck your hip under. Stand firmly here. Maybe you want to take your left hand on your right hand on your knee, and just push out on your knee a little bit into your hand to get that inner thigh working. And let go. Navel in, lean to the front. Lots of balance here. Left arm back, or whatever works. We're going to switch them as we did before. All right, let's swim. Right now, I'm swimming, looking for yellow, purple fish in the sea. All those weird looking fish, they are awesome. I love those. 4, 3, come on, lift through the front thigh. 2, 1, frame the foot, move back, stretching thigh and the legs. All right, so from the sea to the birds. So this front foot moves out to the side, step the back foot further out, and then yoga squat. Of course, just stay here if that's enough. If you stay here, you want to move your knees out to the side by the use of your elbows. If you want to fly again, bird of paradise, this time, you take your right arm underneath the knee joint. Left arm up, bend it behind you. See if your hands can reach. And then lift your chest a little bit. Hold firmly with your hands and see if you can keep your balance. If not, again, don't worry. Just start over again. From the bottom, you can't reach if you're standing here. And maybe reaching the toes up. Oh, that's my bird of paradise today. But you can stay a little bit longer if you like. So, if you're done, step back, coming down on your belly. Stack your hands, forehead on the mat, and just relax. A few things down on the mat, and then the last really short sequence. So, take your hands down, palms facing up, and draw your hands underneath your hip flexors there, your watches and whatever you have. So thumbs moving in, and you're having your thigh move down towards your palms. Now again, shoulders, don't let them move towards the mat. Move them up towards the sky and back. Looking down, engage your root lock pelvic floor, and then lift your feet off the mat. You can let your forehead rest on the floor and just let it hover over. And lift your leg as high as you can. You have support, so you might lift them higher than you actually normally do. Then flex your feet, toes pointing down, and then point your toes. Stay with your legs elevated as much as you can. Flex and stretch your feet. Maybe you want to think it's fun to notice where you're actually engaging your legs here. Does it feel different? Pointing the toes and flexing the toes or the feet. All right. Lower down, release your hands. Take them under the shoulder. Again, shoulders back, toenails on the ground. And lift up, maybe in your cobra, or maybe if you draw your hands a little bit more to the front, find a little bit of a deeper back bend. Be mindful. Don't overdo this. What I really like about a part of what I really like about the Christian faith is that it encourages us to praise no matter the circumstance. As you probably all know, it's easy to be happy when happy things happen. But the Bible actually encourages us to think also in hard situations about God's goodness. Having that element that is always bigger than me, always worthy, always loving, I think is powerful. Come down with your chest. Tuck your toes under, a little bit of a opposite stretch, tabletop, and spine towards the sky, navel in. Shorten the distance in between your nose and your pubic bone. All right. Let go. Walk your feet to the top of the mat and rise up. Again, checking in with your body, with your breath. Lift your right leg up towards the sky. Navel in if you happen to keep your balance. And then move your right leg back, warrior two. So you turn the back foot around and make sure you get some distance. This is our last thigh warming sequence. Okay, so kneel down with the front knee here towards the pinky toe. If you take a look, reach your arms out to the side and see how far distance you actually can get from fingertip to fingertip. Then draw your arms up towards the sky. Again, shoulders back, some distance in between those palms. Turn the front foot so you're in a wide-legged position on the mat, maybe toes pointing slightly inward. If you have any back issues, you want to put your hands on your hip, okay? Navel in, bend a little bit in your knees as you lean forward, not going into a forward fold. We will only stay in a horizontal line. So you stop here, thumbs moving up. How are you feeling in your hamstrings, the back here? Navel really engaged. Trying to lift up. If it's too much for your hamstrings, bend your knees and let your thighs help. But reach up, get navel in. All right. We're going to turn on the mat, and I know you will be facing the opposite direction of the camera, or the video, but I think you know Warrior 2. The back foot as it is for you now. Align it with the long end of the mat and sink down in Warrior 2. Now this back thigh actually has a little bit of internal rotation, so don't move it out, just a little bit in. Again, lift your arms up, shoulders down, move that back foot into a wide-legged forward fold, not really forward fold. Again, hands on your hip, leaning forward. Lots of strength here. Lifting up, using your legs, your core. Warrior 2, as we started, the front foot aligned with the long end of the mat. And let's repeat this. So reach up, that front foot to the side, hands on your hip, if not to the front, lean forward. Slowly reaching up. Back foot, looking back, Warrior 2. Sink low. Lift up. Pivot the back foot, lean forward. Stay here for a breath. If your legs are shaking, oh yeah. Warrior 2, looking towards your screen, probably. One last time through. Wide leg, navel in, pelvic floor engaged, lean forward. One breath. Warrior 2, looking back. Isn't this fun? I know it's not. One last time. Well, it is. Some of us really likes it. Some of us crazy yogis who love power yoga are just happy now, in our happy place. Reaching up. And then hands down, lift the back heel off, and actually step to the top end of the mat and sit down. This is awesome. So let's play a little bit. We're going into boat pose and a little bit of variations with that. So if you have lower back issues, maybe just stay a little bit tall with your heels down on the mat. Now, everybody has their heels down on the mat. Draw your heels in without really moving them. Just let them stay there, activating your thighs and your back. Lean back as much as you need. Open up your chest, navel in. You can pinch your abs to see if anything happens underneath the fat. All right. Then maybe you'll lift the heels off. Again, broadening through the chest. And maybe lift one leg and switch here to see if that works for you. It's a lot of hip flexor working here, so might feel that as well. Let's go for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Roll back on your spine. And you can do your windmill to release. A few more ab exercises. Reaching your legs up towards the sky. This is done more easy if you bend your knees. So you can always go for that. Now your lower spine, lumbar spine is on the back. That's on the mat. That's what I was going for. You take one leg, lean it down, hover it over the floor, foot is flexed. Bend the knee and then move it up. Align it with the other leg. And of course, you switch. So down, bending, moving up. If this is too much, just go for a bent knee and don't go too low. All right. And don't let this lower back get away from the mat unless you have this extra curve in your back. So navel in, flat tension, and keep moving. And actually, if you want a little bit more of a deepening in the top of your abs, you can support your head with your arms here, reaching up. Let's do 6. 5, remember to breathe. You are doing so well. 4, 3, 2, and the last one. 1. Feet on the mat. Take a break. All right. Now this was the front. Let's work the back. So bend the knees. Feet on the mat, hip width distance, root lock engaged. Lift or scooch the pelvic floor so that your lower back is on the spine, is on the mat. And then lift your hip up using your heels. And maybe drawing your hands or your elbows, shoulders in. Palms can maybe reach each other. Grasp your hands or just whatever works for you here. Bridge pose. Now, your buttocks, you really want to firmly squeeze them in. And maybe think of the top of your buttocks, that part of the buttocks that's closer to your spine. Is that activated? Probably. How about that lower part of the buttocks where you kind of have that rounding in? Is that activated as well? Lift a little bit higher. Stay for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Walk your shoulders out, round your back, coming down. Who want a side out? I do. Hug your knees in. We are having a few stretches before a few minutes of resting. I hope you feel mentally relaxed right now. Your body might be tired, but your mind is in another place right now. In a good place, hopefully. All right. Reversed pigeon pose. You can take your left foot on the mat, right leg, cross it over, right knee out to the side. If you're quite not that flexible, maybe this is enough stretch for you. If not, take a hold of your left thigh, draw the knee in, but your right knee out to the side. This is supposed to feel a stretch on your outer edge of your hip and your glutes. You can close your eyes. I know that sometimes, at least friends or people that I know, sometimes things that Christians in general might be a little bit boring. But the weird thing is that actually, if you look through the Bible, they knew how to party. They really knew how to party, and they did a lot of partying. And at some point, even a king, King David, was partying so hard that he lost most of his clothes. Not saying that we should do that, but just saying that celebrating, having fun, having a party is definitely a part of the Christian tradition. And maybe we need to encounter that a little bit more. I don't know. Switching legs. And same goes for this leg. Out to the side with your left knee as you pull in your right thigh. Let your breath move all the way down to your belly, or it feels like that. And release. Have both of your knees in. If you want to go for plow pose with your leg above your head, option of doing that, I will not show it, and make sure you don't look at the screen if you go for your plow pose. If you just hug your knee in, you can roll or circle, whatever, to massage your back, lower back. If you're in plow pose, come back. Everybody releases their legs, feet on the ground, and then gonna do our butterfly. Sole of the feet together, knees out to the side. And just take your feet further away from your hip if it's too much of a stretch. If your hands can reach your inner thighs, that's a way of creating a little bit more of a stretch on those adductors, the inner thigh. Again, close your eyes. So I started with speaking a little bit about surviving versus living. And I don't know how you have received all of this COVID situation, but if you have survived or feel like you have survived mainly, even though that might be the circumstance, try to think of one, maybe two things that you are grateful for, also in a COVID situation. What are the things that maybe surprisingly was positive in your survival atmosphere or sentiment? You can still ponder upon that, but we gathered the knees, sole on the feet, sole on the feet, right, sole on the mat, and then move your feet a little bit further away from your hip, and windshield your leg out just to one side, doesn't matter which, just rest them. Gentle, maybe gentle stretch on your lower back. Move your knees up and to the other side. and time for resting. So extend your legs out, feet out to the side. So again, opening up your hip a little bit. Arms out to the side. You can even take your arms above your head. Make sure your shoulders still are down though, so you don't move your shoulders up. Palms facing up no matter what, how you're laying down. And here we're just be staying for 3 minutes. Relax your whole face. And actually relaxing, letting go. Can also be a place of worship, a gratitude. We are also called to relax, not only to work and play. So let your whole self relax and breathe deeply. As you still rest on the mat, I'll read the passage again, and maybe you want to picture things in your mind as I read it. Come, let's sing for joy to the Lord. Let us shout aloud to the rock of our salvation. Let us come before him with thanksgiving. And extol him with music and song. In his hands are the depths of the earth, and the mountain peaks belong to him. The sea is his, for he made it, and his hands formed the dry land. Come, let us bow down in worship. Let us kneel before the Lord, our Maker. As you're still resting on the mat, I'll finish with a short prayer that you're welcome to pray with in your heart. God, Let our lives be a thanksgiving, worship to you, not taking things for granted. We celebrate your love, your hand that reached out through death and showed us your power through the resurrection of Jesus Christ. Amen. Still resting on the mat. Wriggle fingers and toes. Ankles and wrists. And maybe you hug your knees in, as we did just before we lay down. Open up your eyes and getting back to life, hopefully, with maybe a feeling of gratitude or gratefulness. And then into a seated pose. I so appreciated that you were joining me on this power class today. I hope you had fun, and you can always look at this again because it is recorded as a live session. So on YouTube, it's under the live videos, I think. So you can always come back and check it out. Again, if you want to write in the chat box, I think it's an option, where you're from or anything like that. So thank you so much from my heart to your heart, and let's stay tuned. There's lots of videos still happening here on the channel. And for you who are on the teacher training, who is doing this class, we will meet in 10 minutes on Zoom. So in 10 minutes on Zoom, if you're on the training, online training, you want to stay with me this weekend. But I'm gonna finish the live recording very soon. Give me a thumbs up or something like that. I have to say it because that's what YouTubers do, right? So have an awesome day. Enjoy the sunshine if you happen to have that. Bye.